So you're probably already doing it a lot more than you think. One of the kind of natural pieces of technology evolution is that people that grow up with it and use it naturally are better at delivering it in the future. So I think don't put too much pressure on yourself. I think the fact that I'm assuming everyone at that back table uses AI on a daily basis in a relatively coherent and cognitively thought through way. You're probably ahead of 90% of the people that sit on the other side of that table. Maybe not some of the more expert people, but I think allow yourselves to naturally solve problems, and I think you'll be surprised at how much you're already doing it in a way that is new and innovative and is not being done by other people who didn't have that background and that history of growing up with it. Having said that, I would focus on being an architect, not a builder. In my business, even pre-AI, in all of my businesses, I've always had architects and builders. Builders are people that do things, they deliver things, they are usually quite replaceable. They might be very skilled, but somebody else of equal skill could replace. They are tactical deliverers of work. And then we have architects who are systems designers, strategic thinkers. They are multipliers who have hundreds of builders and other architects underneath them. And the future is moving away from the builder being the larger pool of people to the architect being the larger pool of people for the first time ever. So in a similar way to you think of manufacturing, if we think about the Ford car line, which I thought was a great example, we used robots. Suddenly we didn't need all these workers putting parts together. Suddenly the really important role were the systems engineers who were designing the whole workflow and managing its efficiency. It's a very similar thing. Now, all those systems engineers understand how you build a car. They understand the mechanical engineering underneath how you build a car, but their job isn't to build the car. Their job is to build a system that builds the car. And your job will be to build a system that builds something. You may never have to read a legal contract and yet operate in the legal system. I doubt it, but it's possible. So I would think about being an architect, and I would think about solving problems in your life, in your schoolwork, in your academia, in your side jobs, as how would I be an architect to deliver this? Somebody said to me, the most powerful piece of advice I've ever been given, which is, would you rather own 100%, or would you rather own 100% of 2 businesses or 80% of 5? Obviously 80% of 5, assuming all the businesses are worth the same. In a similar format, would you rather have 2 processes that operate at 100% or 5 that operate at 80%? Again, I'd rather have 5 divisions that operate at 80% rather than 2 that operate at 100%. Well, how do I deliver that? Well, I deliver that by empowering people to build them without me. And if they ever go above 80%, I'm probably too involved. Now, it was a very good way of stroking my ego and telling me that I'm better than everyone else, which isn't true. And actually, they end up doing it better than I would have done and run it at 120%. But the idea of how do I empower systems to deliver is where you will go. And whereas previously you had to wait to go up the ladder until you had people to manage, you don't anymore. You can build a system that delivers value in any business, in any job, in any system, in any piece of education that you participate in. So understand enough about the underlying problems that need to be solved to be an architect to build systems to solve them at scale.